Hello, welcome to my channel where I talk mostly about watercolour painting. So today I'm going to show how I created this semi-abstract landscape, and it's a kind of follow-on from last week's video where I created this really simple layered landscape which you can see there on the right. Now I'm going to be using exactly the same technique, but I'm going to be showing how you can create a bit more depth by varying your colour and also by creating just a few more layers. So the colours that I'm going to use for this one are Phthalo Turquoise, but I'm then going to be using a burnt sienna as well. And I'm not using my usual Winsor and Newton burnt sienna. I'm using a Daniel Smith one because it's more granulating. Now, I really like the mix of the very staining, non-granulating Phthalo Turquoise and then this granulating burnt sienna. So I am mixing those colours together, but at points I'll put more of one colour down than the other, and you'll just see how that just gives the surface of the painting a bit more interest. For this first layer, I've mixed these two colours together. I'm not using that Phthalo Turquoise pure because it really is a very strong colour. So I have just mixed a little bit of the burnt sienna in there. Now, these two colours go well together. They're more or less opposite each other on the colour wheel, which means that you can get a nice neutral colour when you mix them together. And as I did in the previous video, I'm just laying my colour down and then I'm leaving it and letting the paint, sort of settle and not overworking it too much. I want to get a fairly smooth surface, but I'm not going to worry too much about little imperfections because that's just going to add to the character of the painting. I am speeding this up, but as you can see, I'm moving the paper around because you can influence where that paint is on the paper, and you can just make a bit of a smoother surface by making sure that it doesn't settle in any one place too much. Okay, so I am making sure that the layers are completely dry before I go on to the next one, and I do use my hairdryer a little bit, but more or less I'm trying to let it dry naturally because you get a nicer effect of the granulating paint that way because the paint has a bit more time to separate before it dries. Okay, so for each layer I'm adding a little bit more of the burnt sienna in each time, and I am making each subsequent layer a little bit darker than the one that it's going on top of. So I am speeding this up a bit, but I'm working quite quickly because I want each layer to be quite smooth. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to add more of the burnt sienna just in one area of that shape. And that's what I was talking about in the introduction. I'm just sort of varying the colour range across this shape just to add a bit more depth and interest. But I do want the overall colour to be quite uniform. So I am working quite quickly and I'm trying to make sure that I've got even transitions across that shape. Okay, so this second layer is completely dry and I'm going to go in with the third layer now. And I am trying to sort of vary that line across the top just to make it look a bit more interesting. So I'm making it a bit of a wiggly line, and I'm also varying the distance that I've got between the top of one shape and the next. And obviously I've done a kind of valley-like form, but you could try this out with different shapes. You could do more of a mountain if you wanted, or a complete mountain range. And you can also use different colours. It's a really good way of getting to know your colours. I would recommend using quite a sort of staining colour mixed with a granulating colour. But any combination of colours can create its own, unique look. I'm just going to put the music up for a little bit and then I'll jump in again in another couple of minutes. Okay, so what I'm doing at the bottom here is I'm just soaking up some of that wet paint, because what you don't want to happen is for the wet paint to travel back up into the painting, and that way you might get blooms. So I am keeping an eye on what's happening there. And again, here I'm putting a bit more of the brown paint on the right hand side. And I think a painting like this is a really great way of practicing your water control, because when you do add those color variations in, you need to make sure that you're not putting too wet or too dry paint on top of the shape. So it's a really good way of getting used to just how wet your paint is. Um, Now, as you can see, these shapes are getting progressively darker and darker, which is great because I've got a nice tonal variation going on in this painting, and that can really help to make your painting look finished if you've got a good range of lighter and darker shades. Now this final layer wasn't going down quite as smoothly as I wanted it to, and I was quite tempted to overwork it, but it's quite important with watercolour not to do that. So I did just smooth it out as best I could, and I just left it, and actually once it dried it looked absolutely fine. So this is the final layer. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then I'll be taking that tape off. And I can already see that quite a lot of that paint has gone under the tape. Now I know that the Phthalo turquoise is very staining, and it can be quite difficult to lift off. So I might end up having to use a frame on this, a cardboard frame, just to mask off the edges. But let's see what happens when I take that tape off. And that edge is nice and smooth, but you can see down there in the corners I've got some paint under the tape. Now, I think that's going to be pretty hard to lift off. You can sometimes lift off the watercolour paint by getting lots of water and scrubbing it off. I did try it with this painting, but it really didn't want to shift. So I think that ultimately when I frame it, I will be putting a little mount on top of it. So the fact that this paint won't shift is actually one of the qualities that makes it quite a good painting for this kind of layered technique, because as you put each layer on, you're less likely to lift off any of the paint below. I've got two different frames. I think this one works quite well. I really hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and if you give something similar a go, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you've got any questions at all, then also let me know. And please consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.